You know, we should have as much dialogue and openness as possible. Have you felt the change in the tone and tenor of the feds out there? We certainly have. We used to could walk up to them and talk with the FBI agents in a friendly manner, unarmed and stuff, but the tenor has changed. They have become more hardened. And when they step out of their vehicles, now they're stepping out with their...
Well, since I can't sleep, might as well go ahead and do this video. As many of the rumors and nonsense of flying, I gotta say I'm impressed with some of the asinine comments I'm seeing by a bunch of people that never hear. But this is what happened. Today we were heading to a meeting up in John Day, and myself and Buddha, Ammon, were in my Jeep. LaVoy Finicum's truck had LaVoy, Ryan Payne, Ryan Bundy, Shauna Cox, and 18-year-old girl that I won't disclose her name. We were heading up 395. Ammon was taking a nap in the back of my Jeep. Buddha and I were just jawing. You know, as we were going through the forest, we happened to look over, and there was approximately 11 heavy-duty, 3/4 ton, 1 ton trucks sitting there. All winches and jacked up and, standard HRT trucks. And they whipped out, pulled us over, pulled me out of the Jeep first, being a driver, being as tall as I am and such, being armed. Yeah, they were a little rougher with me, but I would be too. Then they pulled Ammon out, they pulled Buddha out, and then after they had us secured, they radioed ahead that vehicle 1 was secure, go ahead and proceed with vehicle 2. At that time, we seen somebody come out of vehicle 2, didn't know who it was on the passenger side, and they're about 200 yards up. They went to the ground, they were handcuffed. Next thing we know, LaVoy takes off.
Like they're ramping it up, that they're going to take some sort of, you said kinetic, like physical action?
All the behaviors is in the preparation of a campaign of some sort. And whether it's just a saber rattling to try to intimidate, or whether they actually mean it, we don't know. All we know is what we see.
And the other occupants. HRT, of course, pursues. They got further down the road, and we didn't realize there was actually a roadblock about a mile down. And from what Shauna Cox is saying, going off from what Shauna Cox and what Ryan Payne are saying, which were in the vehicle, visually, I seen the truck take off. Now, I mean, anytime somebody takes off with a vehicle away from law enforcement after they've exercised a stop, it's typically, considered an act of aggression and foolish. Payne said while they were sitting there and they were clearing my vehicle that him and LaVoy kind of had a heated discussion, and LaVoy was actually rather heated. But, I'm not going to dismiss, or degrade LaVoy at all. LaVoy was very passionate, about this, about the movement, about what we were doing up here. But emotionally thinking, I mean, it's not always the best. But he was very passionate. I mean, I love the dude. Met him 3 weeks ago. I mean, I admired him. But he took off. HRT had to chase him. And then from what Shauna Cox was saying, once they got down there by the roadblock, I don't know if he tried to go around the roadblock or what he did. But anyways, the nose of his truck.
The truck leaves the scene at a high rate of speed. It travels some distance, quickly approaching a vehicle roadblock. As the truck approaches the roadblock, there is a spike strip across the road, but it appears Finicum missed it as he attempted to drive around the roadblock. He nearly hits an FBI agent as he maneuvers to the left. The truck gets stuck in the snowbank. Finicum leaves the truck and steps through the snow. Agents and troopers on scene had information that Finicum and others would be armed.
The sheriff, and he's like, so either shoot me now or leave us alone. And they were just like, turn the car off and put your hands up. No, so finally, he decided to just drive. So we all got down on the floorboard, and he took off, and then they started firing at us. They started shooting us a bunch of times, and then they had a roadblock set up, and so he ran into a snowbank, and they were riddling the car with bullets. And then when we crashed, they stopped for a second. He got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, and rest. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. They shot him like right there because he was just walking with his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God, he was just walking with his hands in the air, and they shot him, and they shot him dead. And then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times, and then they bombarded our vehicle with bullets. Ryan got hit in the shoulder. We were laying there on the floorboard screaming, and they gassed us like 5 times, and they kept trying to shoot us, and their angle was bad, so I don't know. We were praying like so hard, and we were screaming like, "Stop! Please stop! Please stop!" And they were just riddling us with bullets. They kept gassing us over and over, and we couldn't breathe because of the gas. And we were trying to find something white so that we could put a white flag out. And then I was trying to see, because Ryan knew he had got hit in the shoulder, so he was like, "Well, I don't think it's too bad though." So so we were just trying to find a way to get out there, and then they hold on a second. I'm waiting for them to call me back.
Listen, Victoria, I recorded your testimony.
Oh, okay.
All right, because if anything happens to you, I think it's really important to have that.
All right.
Okay, so let's just get this clear. Mr. Finicum's Finicum hands were in the air when he was shot.
Yes.
Was he stand?
We saw him face up. I mean, his hands were still up after he was dead.
Okay, they shot him and he went down, then they shot him again on the ground?
Yeah, they shot him like at least 6 times.
The newspaper reports are just saying that 3 shots were fired, but that's not true.
No, are you kidding me? They shot at least 120 shots probably altogether.
Okay.
They were shooting the car. It was like a lot.
What side of the windows were the windows blown out on, the left or the right side?
Left.
Left side, okay. And
They kept hitting the right. They kept hitting the right side of the car too, but they didn't blow. Like the windows didn't come out. Like they were hitting the metal instead of the glass.
okay. And so not one shot was fired by anybody in the car or by LaVoy?
No one even touched their gun.
No one touched their gun?
No one pulled their gun out. No one touched the gun. We had no rifles. A couple of the guys had sidearms on, but no one touched them. In fact, they had their hands out the windows to show that they were not firing. They weren't nothing.
Okay, so
We showed no aggression at all.
when Ryan Bundy was shot, both his hands were out the window and his head was out the window?
No, at the time he was on the floor of the car because that was when they were shooting at our vehicle. We couldn't get out of the car or we would have been dead.
Right, okay. And so how many police vehicles or how many vehicles would you say were involved in this encounter? FBI vehicles, etc.
I didn't count. I was really shooken up when they got out. But we all noted that there was like a ton of vehicles. There were, I don't know, maybe 40 altogether.
Okay.
There was tons, and there were people in the trees. Like it was an ambush. It was a set-up ambush or something because there was like people in the trees, FBI snipers, and people in the trees because we saw them. They're all pointing their. Like I had like 20 lasers on me when I was getting out of the car.
Okay. So Lloyd got out of the driver's seat and he
when he crashed into the snowbank, then he immediately got out of the car. He had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then, because he didn't want to go. He didn't want to go down. He didn't want to. But he did not. He just had his hands in the air. He's like, "Are you just going to shoot me?" And then they just shot him.
And how many shots would you say that were fired when they shot him the first time?
The first time that he was shot.
When they shot him, did you hear multiple rounds?
Yes, I did. He got hit by several people. Like it was like simultaneous, and we were like, "What?" Because we couldn't believe it. It shocked us because he had his hands in the air. We couldn't believe that they were actually going to shoot him, and we were like, "What? Is he dead? Is he dead?" And then I was like, because we knew that he had gotten shot, we couldn't hear him, and I was like, then I screamed, "I'm in him too! Come out and help him! I just want to help him!" And then he started firing at the car, the vehicle again. and then they wouldn't let us out. And, oh, it was so scary.
About how long would you say they fired at the car before they finally stopped?
Somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes.
We have no intent of pointing a gun at anybody, but let's be clear here. Who's pointed guns at me? Who's pointed guns at Ammon? They have. Who said that we will shoot you? We never have. They have.
Ranch supporters claim he was murdered in cold blood. His daughter is saying the father of 11 had his hands in the air when he was shot.
They just unloaded on him and just shot him like a whole bunch of times, and they killed him.
As a local hospital in the nearby town of Burns went on lockdown while treating one suspect, authorities said at least 8 were arrested, including an online blogger who supported the group.
Women and children need to get out of there right now.
And John Ritzheimer, famous for his online postings about being willing to risk everything in the standoff.
Although nobody here will fire that first shot.
The standoff, which was in its 24th day, had been mostly peaceful until now. But townspeople and Oregon's governor had expressed frustration the occupation had been allowed to continue so long. The big question now is what happens out at the wildlife refuge. People are still holed up inside there, and for the first time, law enforcement has a presence there as well. They've actually set up roadblocks now throughout the area. There is also a concern that LaVoy Finicum could now be seen as a martyr. There is a great deal of anger here that he was killed at the hands of law enforcement. In fact, the group's Facebook page is filled with people posting about that. We'll continue to monitor the situation.
Okay, I want them to know exactly where I'm at.
So if they come here with an arrest warrant and they try to put cuffs on you, what's your plan?
Well, they're not going to just come up with a guy holding a rifle and put cuffs on him, okay? They're not going to do that.
What do you think they're going to do, and what are you prepared to do?
Well, I hope that they go home. That's what I hope they do. And so I will, whatever days, and I believe that there'll be many, and hopefully prosperous days to come, I will spend them riding my horses, trying to take care of my cows, and that's what I will do. But I will not spend it in a box.
If they come here and try to arrest you, they
Yes.
point a gun at you, they try to put cuffs on you, how far are you willing to take this?
Well, don't point a gun at me. You don't point a gun at somebody unless you're going to shoot them. That's the first thing you're taught is, don't point guns at people. And so I'm telling them right now, don't point guns at me.
So you're prepared to die, better dead than in a cell?
Absolutely. Dude, would you like to be in a cell? Nobody wants to live their life in a cell. What you're also seeing is that's why you're seeing the uptick in the saber rattling from the feds, because they do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them. Their choices must be their own, but obviously this is my choice. And so I'll deal with what I am doing and what choices I will make. I'm prepared to defend freedom. These actions must rest squarely upon my own shoulders and mine alone.